some of our other sites. And those sites include East Albany Medical, Dawson Medical Center, Muriel Worthy Women's Health Center, Lee Medical Arts, Baker Primary, Dooley. Our South Albany location is where we have, like I said before, our telesite services. And we also have them in our school-based health centers also. So we house one in Trinity Elementary, Alice Coachman, Chris, and Chris.
Do you know, is that the Georgia Apex program?
No.
No, it's just begun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And how do kids get sort of connected to your behavioral and mental health?
Actually, through the teachers, pretty much they get referred in through the teachers.
And is there a lot of resistance with parents? Sometimes you hear that, like parents just think, oh, I don't want my child to get.
Sometimes, but not necessarily, because you know, if you have a child that you may not be able to control the issue yourself, sometimes the kids may feel a little bit more comfortable talking to someone outside of their parents. I know myself, I wouldn't tell my, you know, if I had some stuff going on, my parents would be able to see it. It may be something that they may not be able to deal with, so that teacher referral to that provider in that school is how everything gets initiated. Also, it could be initiated through the parent also. So, of course, consent forms and things of that nature, all that is sent out. Our young ladies here do their best to attend most of, the PTOs and things of that nature in order to, you know, get out the word that these services are offered. Being that we are a federally qualified organization, we don't spend a whole lot of money on marketing. So you won't see billboards or, you know, this is pretty much our marketing. Yeah, you won't see billboards or things on TV or things of that nature. We like to put our money more back towards the patient instead of, you know, fancy slogans and other things.
So you've grown it to six people, or 7 people. Is that because you've seen that there's a significant need and that it's also making an impact in the lives of children?
True, true. So actually we're expanding even more, as I'm gonna get to here. All right, so currently our licensed clinical social workers see patients of all ages. Our nurse practitioner sites see patients starting at in the adolescent age and up, and our psychiatrists see patients 18 and up. All right, services provided: individual therapy, group therapy, medication-assisted therapy, and substance abuse. I'm sorry. All right, so coming soon, AAPHC will be absorbing the Renaissance Center and start providing psychological services January 2nd. Dr. Nick Carton is the owner of the Renaissance Center, and we will be absorbing his entire practice. Most of his team will be joining us. I think he may have had 1 or 2 that decided to go elsewhere. But we will be starting this center on January 2nd, and it will be located on Oscar Court, which is across from the veranda next to Albany Internal Medicine. It was an empty building, and we purchased that building. Half of it would be our Renaissance Center. The other half would be a family practice, pediatric, and dental site. We'll be having dental in that site also. And that's pretty much my presentation. Were there any other questions or comments? Ladies, do you have anything that you would like to add?
Just if you have family and friends, or you know of anybody who's in the North County school system who have children, elementary, middle, and high school, we will be calling, not trying to take them away from their primary health care provider, but just offering that service for them to get their well child health check done, and school system transportation will take them for dental, vision, well check to those sites. So they won't miss a lot of time out of school or away from class.
All right, one thing before you all leave, make sure there should be an evaluation for this breakout session in packet. If not, we've got some extra ones here in the back. So just make sure you fill out the evaluation so we can check in with our presenters and see what information we still might need to provide, questions you have, that kind of thing. So please do that for your courses.
I'm just interested in why schools? Why is it a good idea to have healthcare in the schools and connected with the schools?
Sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead.
I am a retired educator from Turner Elementary School, and that's where it started. And I actually help Albany area primary health care get this set up with doing home visits, trying to figure out why the child's not in school. The child is sick, the parent don't have transportation, take them to and from the doctor. Why not send them to school sick and let us take care of them? It decreased a lot of absenteeisms. The children could come to school, get those. You'd be surprised of the children who actually, whether they have health insurance or Medicaid or whatever, they don't go to the doctor. So why not put those providers there in the school to help with those annual checkups, the well child health checks, to administer the immunizations, if they have a headache or toothache or running a fever, come on to school and let us see about you and send you back to class if need to. If not, let us write the prescription, have your mom pick you up.
And so you've seen an impact in terms of how it's impacting children and
Yes.
families.
I think these are
Children
services
are
that aren't
staying in
provided
school.
by just a regular school nurse.
Right, right.
Say more what you mean by that. You said they're not provided by the school nurse, or say more about why you think it's important that
Yeah, we want to spread this around the states. We want to hear why.
Well, you're actually getting full medical care in the school versus getting aspirin or Band-Aid or getting sent somewhere else. We're doing more preventive care inside of the school. We're doing dentistry, we're doing internal medicine, we're doing vision. We're doing everything that, in our area, a lot of parents, not to say that they neglect their child care, but they're not able to because they're so focused on working that they're not able to take that child out of school to go when, the child presents certain issues. They may just go ahead and send the child to school and let it worsen, and then they end up in convenient care or emergency room. So by us providing these services inside the school, you see a reduction from child illnesses, visits to the ER and things of that nature, because we can get it right there during school hours when the parent may not be able to go. And at the same time, we can provide it at a reduced rate that these other places don't also do.
And is this something that others, like you can expand to other schools or other school systems? That is this such a good idea that everybody should be doing? Or a lot about is that there's a provider shortage?
Correct.
And do y'all experience that, or that's sort of one of the issues to really expanding it out?
We do. It's kind of Southwest Georgia, getting the younger generation to want to come to a slower environment without having, entertainment and nightlife and all kind of other different things that, they want to go to Atlanta for. You have to highlight the benefits of actually being in a smaller rural location. Because to me, believe it or not, we see the harder cases that actually challenge these providers to step out of their realm. You have to actually have a passion for what you do to actually come to Southwest Georgia.
If my kid was sick and I sent him or her to school, and you guys sent them to the health clinic within the school,
Mhm.
are the parents notified before that, or how would the billing then set up? Would the parent fight the billing, or?
No, consent is sent out, I think, before the year even starts.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
the
we
parents
get all
agree to pay
consent
all that
forms
stuff before
every
then?
year. Every year,
Okay.
consent forms are sent out, and we do all that beforehand for those situations.
I just know with some kids, with their anxiety or something, and they have all the different illnesses, the hypochondriacs going
And
in.
actually, what we do is we go to the open house and we pass out those consent forms and
Uh-huh.
we talk to the parents and try to explain everything before they leave. But when they sign off on them, before we start scheduling students, we call them to make sure that it's okay. We have a
Okay.
centralized scheduling, And the school nurses actually check to make sure the insurance is still active and all, a few days before they even show up. But we call and we talk to the parent and we tell them the process. When your child shows up for school, transportation will be waiting for them, Dougherty County School System Transportation. They'll get on the bus with the other children from their school, take them to this location. Once they arrive, you'll be called before and after the visit.
Okay.
They don't administer any immunization shots or any medication or anything without talking to the parents. And we also let the parents know that, hey, we have an open door policy. You can either bring the child in yourself, you can meet the bus there, or, you know, you can just wait to hear from us.
Gotcha. I
And
was
we
just curious.
we even have parents that actually get seen with their children
Right,
at the clinic too.
right.
So, they do. You can actually be, the parent can actually be seen at the clinic also.
Right.
All of this that we're putting in this room together today, I need a U and a U at every school. We need 500 of these. You know, we need to bridge the gap for information for people. What you represent, the library, and the things we just talked about, the multiple programs, and that's what we at Network of Trust try to do. We are a division of Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital. We have been in operation for almost 30 years. Cindy and I was in kindergarten, that's what I like to say. And then we started out with school health. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? And what we try to do, we like to let you tell us who you are when you come in.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
My name is Charlie Roberts. I work with the Auburn Police Department Gang Task Force.
And we love you.
Yes, ma'am.
When I call them my little baby thugs that some of my little mamas have, that's a man that I like for them to see, so they'll remember they're not gonna raise a baby thug, but they are loved and they're gonna do the right thing and not be in your course either. And when we have Network of Trust, our school health program, we started out as a program for teenage mothers because many years ago, 30 years ago, Albany, Georgia had one of the highest rates of teen pregnancy in the United States of America. You'll see some of this in my presentation where we've had a 53% in decrease in teen pregnancy in the last decade. That's from working with our health department, our school nurses, our school teachers, our coaches, educationally, to bring in with our parents and our families the prevention piece of being educated about making a choice of whether to be sexually active. So as we evolved, about 10 years after we had just been a teen parenting program, the CDC, school health, really hit the radar about 20 years ago in that we thought counselors, we thought teachers, we thought parents, but could just do what they needed to do. But when you see an increase in asthma, an increase in diabetes education, the mental health needs of children who are growing up with a greater population of single-parent homes now, the emotional needs of mamas and daddies who, like we talked about earlier, may not have the process of learning that we had to know how to read, to know how to think outside their box. But we bridged the gap together to bring in, and we see school health as a major piece of what we're doing. When we started Network of Trust, we began in the 90s and we expanded to be the school health program, and now we are community outreach. What we see and what the vision is, we continue to grow the partnership with Albany Area Primary Health Care, with our people in the health department, our school teachers, our educators. When we see what we have, and I mentioned teen parenting, Project SAVE we started many years ago, CPR, all the AEDs in the schools. We've trained over 10,000 people, meaning teachers, coaches, children, families, in the CPR. We are what we call Project SAVE. Our school system, we're the second school system to be a heart-safe city outside of your big city of Atlanta, Georgia. We had our mayor declare the city as a heart-safe city because we're working to bridge. So since we've had thousands of people trained, it gave us the foundation to become a heart-safe city. The vision is you will see an AED everywhere you go. That you know how to stop, drop, and roll if there's a fire, okay? You know that. But what we want everybody to know is CPR anytime. And that is something that we teach at the Civic Center. We teach it once a month, free of charge, for licensed CPR, and that different for a healthcare professional, so that anyone and everyone knows about what to do if my little heart or your heart stops beating. Asthma-friendly schools. There are just a few school systems in the city, and Albany Area Primary Health Care and our Network of Trust have worked together on the asthma education, getting our policies in place where we do have asthma-friendly classrooms. We want asthma-friendly schools, and that means from what's in these ceiling tiles to what we clean this floor with and what these desks are cleaned with. So we're educating so that if there is someone who has a sensitivity to those things that could bring about an asthma attack, we want their life and them to be safe to breathe. We had a sweet little baby, y'all. His daddy was an adult asthmatic, and his daddy passed away from an asthma attack. His sweet grandmother said to us one time, her little kindergartner grandchild was able to raise his hand in a school and tell the teacher, this person's having an asthma attack. He was so educated on learning about asthma, and his daddy was a chronically ill asthmatic adult. But again, working together to bring this policy and legislation change, and that's what that will be. All these things directly impact policy changes. Making a Difference is a comprehensive school-based, abstinence-based sex education program where over 7,000 children are trained with the teachers in making a difference. And you can Google it. Wonderful education program, Making Choices. We do not distribute condoms in schools in Georgia. We do not do that hardly anywhere in the United States of America. I want to make sure that we do share, that there's a choice to be made, and you, the one person that you are, the gift of your body is to be taken care of. And that where, when we talk about making a difference, was a broad scope team effort with hundreds of folks trained in the community, is the reason we can talk about a decrease in teen pregnancy. Higher education, our SAMHSA project stop here on the Albany State University campus is 4 years in the making. HIV education, HIV tests, that again, when everything I say, Albany area primary health care, where we with HIV education, what we've seen grow in this region out of love for people. So we work in partnership always. Our Get a Life Maze, Albany State University, where we can bring on more comprehensive, and I love you're shaking your head. Isn't that such a cool thing?
It is, I did it.
I'm going to tell them about your experience, because I love it. I can tell it, but you'll tell it.
Well, it was set up in the gymnasium, and you go, and a lot of things are random. You have to either spin a wheel or pull a card, and based on your card, you either get married or you go on a date, you get pregnant, or join a gang or walk out of school, and it's just the whole thing. And at the end, you know, you have your life card on based on the choices that you made, and it was interesting to go through it.
It is, and the first time I did it, I got pregnant by 2 different guys, and I got arrested. And your task force guys come too, they come, they're at the maze, folks like these ladies are at the maze, we have a behavioral health specialist at the maze. People like me, I got arrested the first time I went through it. I mean, I had all kinds of children in trouble. That's the girls that I love to work with, you know, in life, and it was just ironic.
I think I went to jail and died or something. It was interesting.
And when the young people come through, if I'm working the table that where they die, I said, okay, you get a second chance now. You may not get a second chance in life, but you get one now. And one time this little girl came through the maze, y'all, and you get them in like you're to pretend party. It's random choices, you know, and things can go on. But at first I saw her face go. So I knew she was headed like probably to one of the risky behavior tables. She went to the STD table, and there you get stamps and stickers, and it's obvious that you have got a sexually transmitted disease. And I saw her face again go, and then she goes to the pregnancy table, and then she gets over there, and I think she became HIV positive. So you could watch her expression, and it was one of the most vivid things. And I went and talked to her afterwards. She said, I've never thought about it.
Right.
You know, and that's what it is. And when we're with the middle schoolers, that is as comprehensive as we can be. We are there to promote a healthy lifestyle, exercise, and we bring in some of the prevention there. And we're on a college campus, like Albany Healthcare. We want HIV testing. We want our bank officials, our thinking, your law, your game. Really, you want your life to be a blessing, not a train wreck. And if it's already a train wreck, let's back up here. Let's get off that train and let's do this differently. Because none of us got here just, whoa, here we are. Somebody loved us enough to help us work through our own lives. And so when we look at those are some of our higher education with Morehouse School of Medicine, what we do here with that opioid prevention grant, Albany State University is one of our main campuses where we're trying to blanket, and we'll have an education program working with that this year on this campus. We're in the high schools. Did a really cool event at the Civic Center last year, and that was with the gang task force, the police. It's their event. We just help wonderful guys, the EMT team, and what that group effort was it was just, tell them, I mean, you know, the emotion I feel. The kids from Darty High School did a skit, and these two kids come in, they die at a party, and this is in our civic center, and in come the police, the gang folks, the coroner's there to pronounce them dead. That's a pretend scenario, and you're almost breathless in the 3 minutes you're watching it. And the parents are called, you know, and they've got the yellow and black tape out. I mean, it's an emotional, very impactful demonstration that our EMTs and police put together. We get to help sponsor it with our Morehouse School of Medicine. Stop the Bleed belongs to our EMTs, but God pray we never ever need it. But if there is a mass shooting, you look for this cord to tie somebody's arm off with. If you're in an accident somewhere and no one's there to help you, you get your phone cord, it's your charger in your car, and you tie your arm off. We don't carry tourniquets in our purses. I'm not a nurse anyway. But when they taught me that it could take any cord to save a life, I'm like, yeah, you know, you think you gotta have a tourniquet, you gotta have a belt, you're kind of trained like that. Look, I will tie myself with my son, he took a boot string out of a boot he cut his foot one time. I said, how did you, and he's a beer salesman and musician, you know, I mean, I was like, how did you know to get your boot string? He said, Mama, you tie it off with anything. Well, no, that's not how my brain works.
Right.
You know, but yeah, that's what we're trained in Stop the Bleed is we can save a life at a car accident, at an accidental shooting or a mass shooting, to tie off that blood supply right then with anything. And I didn't bring this, it just happened to be here. But when our men's and women's health fair, there's a health fair for women going on right now on the West Campus. So you leave here, scoot over there. They got that going on today. Our health screenings, we'll work anywhere, anytime with any of y'all to bring about health screenings. And Safe Sitter is a super cool babysitting class where you have the students come and we have instructors and you learn about babysitting and you get CPR trained, and we do those a couple of times a year. Our school nurses teach those classes and they are cute and they are fun. I think all people should have to go through Safe Sitters because some grown-ups, we still have stuff to learn too. Here again is Project Save. You've watched me on my time because I told them I can talk a long time. This is where you see in action. And this attacking asthma video, I will not bring it to this level to show it to you today for a matter of time. But this presentation is available for you at any time to have. I can email it to you where you can watch the videos. And in the Darty County school system, we have some of the nicest, kindest people to work with. Making a difference, again, this is something you can Google and look at more in depth, but how it fosters the positive attitudes and the beliefs, and that's where, if I'm in the 8th grade, I'm already sexually active, it gives me a minute to say, you know what, I'm gonna take care of me and I'm gonna wait. Or if it's a young man who really thinks, well, she's pressuring me, my girlfriend's in 11th grade, but I'm not ready to be a dad yet. Let's open the door and have these conversations. But I love that it does, the sense of pride and responsibility that it brings and empowers the young people to have. When this is where you'll see our data of the decrease in teen pregnancy, and this will only happen a decrease or a change, whether it's legislatively, percentage-wise, for help that need, to bring about more awareness of mental illness is because we bring our voices together. I'm a state board member of Voices for Children and try to take what we do here in this region to the voices in the halls in Atlanta. Go Noodle Partnership. Now, if you Google Go Noodle and you hang out with it for a little while, if you're fun and you like to dance and do things, you're going to love Go Noodle, where it brings about energy and where we've had over 8 million, almost 9 million extra minutes because of movement and mindfulness generated. We have 25 of the active schools that we help supply. We've funded this since 2011. 100% are active users. So this belongs to the teachers, but it's children and it's used throughout the United States. And we've had it in Albany, Georgia through our school nurse program. The hospital turned 100 in 2011. And this was the project that we thought would be anything to give our babies more love. And the teachers would be the ones to help and the parents to do that. Asthma-friendly schools, where you see and you see one of our super cool principals right here, Dr. Davis. Yeah, he is the rock star, and his folks, we made a video, and his team did it, and these are real students in the Darty County school system. These are real EMTs. We made a local Because we kept looking at all these videos, like, that we could buy, and they were so boring, and, we just knew people in Albany, Georgia could bring that energy together, and Dr. Davis was like, well, I got it. We can do this at my school, and they've got a super cool STEM lab, and we brought everybody together to do it. So those are pieces and scenes from that. That video is eligible as well. It's on YouTube. All that stuff I talk about is on YouTube. Our nurses love to do that. So we have worked together with Voices for Children for many years. The organization is 15 years old now. In Voices for Children, we bring about voices legislatively, now podcasts, weekly updates on what's going on, and from sex trafficking to what we need more strength in our world of law to help our children who may not have the help that they need. Voices is a platform to talk about school-based health centers, to talk about more need for mental health, to talk about what is it that we need. If your library is not getting what they need for children, how can we bring the information and education to the floor of the legislators? Holly is a lobbyist. She has a voice and a passion to tell the stories or whatever needs to be told. When we work together, Voices recognizes programs from time to time, and it is a humble honor that I share that we are a Big Voice recipient, and that happened just about 2 weeks ago. So I said, I have to tell you about that, but the main thing is that you know about Georgia Voices, and that you go and you take a minute, and it's in your handout to take a look. And if you have something that you feel passionate about, this is the place to share it as well. And this is my name, and that's our phone number, and that means my time. What time is it?
10:54.
Really? All right, we're gonna rock on. It's his turn, and it's very nice to see y'all today.
We can help them with the services, and our front desks are very busy at our location, so we actually tell them about us being the Walmart of healthcare. We see patients from pediatrics to geriatrics, from head to toe, and you'll hear that from Mr. Whitaker. All the services that we provide, and we just kind of let them know who we are, what we do, our locations, the services we provide. Like I said, we're able to assist individuals with our state license. We can assist individuals throughout the state of Georgia. And we actually have people coming from the Atlanta area, the Savannah area, from, for help from us. But yeah, I love what I do. It's not a job, it's a passion. And I'm excited about getting up every morning, going to whatever location. We are now going into our school-based health centers and actually getting those, when Tony works the Chris County area and I work the Dooley County area, calling and getting those patients to come in, those students to come in for health checks.
And she's always loved people, and that's how I met her when she was in
Doherty gang, so we'll let them introduce themselves.
How y'all doing this morning? I see some familiar and some unfamiliar faces in the room. I am Sergeant Rico Potts with Albany Police Department Gang Unit. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a native of Albany, been here all my life. Grew up running around on the south side. Kind of lived out in the county, but my mom owned a business, and I had a lot of family over on the south side of Albany, so I spent a lot of time on the south side of Albany. I went to school here in the Doherty County school system. I went to middle school at Southside Elementary, that's no longer there. I meant Southside Middle School, that's no longer there, but it sits right there on Newton Road on the east side, on the south side of Albany. And then I went to Westover High School. I spent it was a quarter when I went. Spent 1 quarter at Albany State University, or Albany State College at the time, and then I went to work at Procter & Gamble. I stayed there for about 15 and a half years, and then I ended up being a police officer. So I've been policing for a little while now. My career at the police department started like all careers at the police department. I started in the patrol division. Worked about 2 years in the patrol division, and then I was sent to a special unit where I did what you all will probably know as vice unit. I tried out, made the SWAT team, and we were turned into the vice unit here in Albany. That vice unit lasted for about a year, and then it turned into the gang unit. So I've been doing gangs now for about 8 years off and on. I got a promotion, left the gang unit, went back to uniform for about 2 years, and then I'm back at the gang unit. This is my third stint at the gang unit. In total, I've probably been doing gangs for about 8 years, 8.5 years now. So I've been working at the police department 13 years. 8 of those years have been doing gangs. I'm not gonna take all the time. I'm gonna get out of the way. I'm gonna let Corporal Roberts handle this. I'm gonna move over. I'll be answering some questions for y'all at the end, but I'll let Corporal Roberts handle the rest.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Charlie Roberts. As Sergeant Potts has told you, I'm Corporal Roberts, promoter.
He's gonna be sergeant here shortly, probably
Yeah.
first of the year.
Yeah. Just a little bit about me. I'm not going to go real deep into it. I also grew up here in Albany, Georgia. Born on South Davis Street in an apartment. Couldn't wait for the ambulance. I couldn't wait. I was in a hurry to get here. I went in the United States Army straight out of high school. Did 8 years. Traveled, saw a lot. Got exposed to a lot. I came back to Albany. I saw some drug dealing and prostitution going on right across from where my mom lived. And one Sunday I was just lying around on the floor, fresh out of the military. I said, man, I can make a difference. So I went down and applied to become a police officer. And I started out, I did 10 years with the city of Albany. I feel like I did make a difference in the neighborhood I grew up in. Ran with a lot of folks, got in a lot of situations, made a lot of arrests. I was, after about 4.5, close to 5 years, I went into investigations. Started out in juvenile, worked my way into becoming a detective, and started working homicides. Well, in '98, I left the police department. I had a growing family. My wife and I started having babies, and we had all girls, 4 girls. But my family was growing, and I felt there was a need for me, being a provider, to get more money. Policing was good, I love it, but I needed more money. So I went to work at Cooper Tire, and I always tell people I believe the Lord stuck me behind a mountain for the hiatus I was there, because I hated every day I was at Cooper Tire. Every day I hated it, but I made the money that I was seeking after. My wife and I prospered from, the days of hate that I lived in that plant. My children grew, and my wife kind of agreed to, hey, I know you want to be happy again. So I came back to policing in 2007, and now I have a total of 23 years with the city. So in about 7 or 8 years from now, I can retire and feel fulfilled. Well, I did 9 years. As soon as I got back to the police department, there was still a remnant of people that knew me from my first stint with the city, and they immediately stuck me back into the fire. I didn't even get the frying pan version of policing. I went straight into fire and started working robbery homicide. Yes, robbery homicide. I can say for 9 years that I had a pretty good track record working in robbery homicide. I've enjoyed it. I worked along with this guy. I met him. I love him. Worked along with him. He was young and fresh, but he had a lot of good, sound, solid relationship in the city. So I was able to work with him, and I gleaned a lot from him, because where I missed coming back to police work and actually making contact with the people after 9 years, I was able to cipher that stuff out of Sergeant Potts and some of the guys that he was working with at the time. And so that helped me connect the dots again. And we've had a great relationship working together. And I did that for 9 long years. And once I got back in the groove, eventually our present seating chief now, Chief Pursley said, hey, Charlie Roberts, I I think it's time for a change in your life, man, what you want to do next. I said, Chief, I really don't know, but I'm going to try to finish my education out, and I know we'll see day to day, because I love what I do. Wherever you need me to serve in the department, it don't matter, it's all police. So I wound up in the gang unit, and Sergeant Potts came back to the gang unit. So once again, he and I were working together. We argue every day. He loves me, I love him. But it's like a love-hate relationship. That's just what it is. But we tell everybody, we can love and hate each other. But if you do something to him, you got a bad day. All right or wrong? And that's just the relationship we have. We love children. We love the children here in Albany. We want to make a difference in their lives. I see a smiling face this morning that knows how much we love children. And I think he is beginning to understand the level of care that we have for him, because I am so glad to see him this morning. I want to start you out with this video so that I don't prolong any more of your time, but this is local. These kids collaborated and they made this video. That is a police officer who was just called into a situation and was checking out a gathering behind some apartments. This area is known as the Gilly Gap. And he was called in, and they actually used this officer without him knowing. If you listen, you'll hear one of the guys gonna flash some money, and you'll hear the officer say, "Hey man, let me get some of that." And they used him for that purpose, for this video. So if you just listen. These guys are really talented. If you listen at the music, I don't know if you're into pop culture music.
No matter what I do, niggas gon' imitate. Sipping on lemonade.
But they're really talented.
Where these niggas from or where they come from, they must immigrated.
But they're gang
But
members.
shit, they had to hate me. A nigga had to been about to make it. They envy niggas like
So the thing about this is, how do you redirect them in their use of their talent? It's a natural talent.
They envy me like a cream, baby, nothing but I call it funk in the summer with like 100. I started rapping, got attention, they start getting tense. I hope they die, them niggas slipped on me like Helen Keller, cursing me like I'm the devil. Now I take a nigga life for the price of my jealous. Say you gon' hurt me, you gon' kill me, you should know better. I'm in the front of your back door, bitch, I'm a cold stepper. And I been walking so long in this cold weather. Yeah, baby, check my tag, I got a lot of swag. Go on from Big Wood, pouring hell with a lot of that. These niggas mad on me, my bad really was going I said. Look on my, I was chasing cash, you was chasing that. And I know you don't lie. I'm in the gap fighting with random, fucking up my night. I tried to put my trust in peace. Can't do that, man. Look at this shit. But y'all don't really call these people for the video. These black men, they call them when we call the video.
Man. Y'all already know Willie O, baby, aka the baby. Y'all already know the dancing name, man. We got the cars out here, 21. They done came down on them, man. They mad 'cause we making a video, man. We trying to get out of the hood, man. We trying to go out there and make this money, nigga. Ski. Free black on dancing. Y'all already know.
They feel like the police, they feel like we, Dr. Wiley, you spoke about Holly Holmes, what they know as the 88. If you listen in the video, they call it the 88, which is Holly Holmes. Dr. Wiley, you said earlier, I grew up there. I don't think that's the same Holly Holmes you grew up in. It's not reflected. So what happened? What went wrong? that's a part of what we hope to change, is the culture of these young men's lives as we go forward as investigators in the gang unit. Albany Police Department gang unit. It's comprised of about 8 officers right now. Our commander is Lieutenant Victor Camp, and you have Sergeant Rico Potts. You have Corporal Promotable Couture Baldwin, Corporal Promotable to Sergeant Gregory Gatt, myself, Investigator Charlie Roberts, promotable. Investigator Thomas Moore, who is our intelligence officer. He's fantastic. He does an excellent job. He has, and we can account this to him, the work that we've all done, but he does the arduous task of sitting and validating for us every gang member that we can identify in the city. We have now a total in the system we use called Formaletics. That's where we can communicate with other gang units throughout the state of Georgia if they are connected in the Formaletics. If we can validate a gang member here in Albany and we make contact with him and whatever relationship we build with him, then if that same gang unit person or gang member goes to Atlanta, goes to Macon, goes to Valdosta, to other cities in the state of Georgia, then through Formaletics, we can find out their activity in those other places. So,
Excuse me, we just had an example of that idea. I arrested a guy on Monday from Atlanta here at Albany State. He's a student here at Albany State. He's a gang member from Atlanta. And he got into some stuff out in the city, and I arrested him, and he was in Formaletics. So.
and that's how powerful that system is for us. Well, Thomas Moore sits behind that computer, and he's also a part of the Safe Streets Task Force with the federal government.
He's an FBI.
Yeah, with the
FBI task force.
On the FBI Safe Street Task Force, being a member of that, we have validated approximately 487 to 450, 490 something gang members presently here in the city of Albany. National statistics says that for every one that we can validate, that's possibly 5 more that's unvalidated. So if you look at roughly 500 young people in the city of Albany that are validated gang members, meaning they are gang members, then there's a potential that we have not even tipped the iceberg in the number of gang members that actually live in Albany.
That's saying we got at least 2,500. At least.
At least, walking around on a daily basis. So we're constantly finding these guys out, finding out who they are, and Thomas Moore sits there and he formulates and he gathers this intelligence for us so that we can be aware of who it is that we're interacting with in the city. We have another member, Johnny Foreman, who's also in the military. So formally, he's deployed with the military, and he's not here today. Then we have Investigator Sanchez, who's also with us, and he has a wealth of knowledge. He's also on one of the Safe Street Gang task forces with the federal government. So we're building something new in Albany that's a needed, necessary, because, you know, for a long time, people thought there were no gangs in Albany, Georgia. Even though they were here, it was being ignored. They're just wannabes, and that's what you would hear. Wannabes. Huh?
Play games.
Yeah, play games. So what is a criminal gang activity?
Got another hand here, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think criminal gang is somebody who committed to a gang and they got into like criminal like got in the system before, and they got out and still like in the game,
So
and they choose their life.
let me show up what you're saying. You're saying you think that criminal activity is someone that got in the game.
Oh.
Yeah, the activity.
I thought it said criminal game, like, oh, so I think criminal game activity is like stuff like getting peer pressure to do stuff like that's not,
Give us an example.
oh, like say if, oh, you want, I'm pay you if you go chop off somebody's head, I'm pay you if you go rob somebody, stuff like that.
Okay, stuff like that. Anybody else want to take a stab at that? Could you hear what he said? He said it would be activity like if you became a part of the gang and they said they'll pay you to go chop off somebody's head. It's kind of gruesome, but, or to go rob someone.
I won't literally, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Selling drugs.
Excuse me?
Who's selling drugs?
Selling drugs, okay.
Creating them.
Hmm?
Or making them.
Or making them. I'm barely in school all day. So it's like, wow. You know, I wish we could get some
I
SROs.
don't wanna scare y'all parents, but schools is where it happens.
Yeah, it's a recruiting
School
ground.
is a recruiting ground, because that's where you get the biggest group of people that their age that they want to recruit is right there in the school system. And they all come together at school, different neighborhoods, different sections of town, all gather at the schools. And that's where it happens.
What's the youngest age of the child or student that you know of, that you all have?
We always get that question.
Documentation.
The youngest documented gang member here in Doherty County was 8 years old.
Do they have ways of recruiting kids and the kids don't quite know they're being recruited until they're already kind of a part of it?
Well, they start out as, and they don't come to them and say, do you want to be in our gang?
It's never a gang to them.
Yeah. It's
When you
never-
talk with them, it's a family, it's
Yeah,
a
you
rap
want to be a part of my
group.
clique?
Yeah, it's everything but a gang. Nobody says come join the gang.
No.
So,
So that's the way that I'm talking about, that
Yes,
kids
ma'am.
need to be aware of.
yes, ma'am.